Hello, I'm Jill.
And I'm Kayla.
And we are
I Wanna Wear Your Skin!
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Here we are. It's the end of September and it's like 95 degrees in my house.
Yeah, but only in the room that we're recording in because that's just how it has to work.
Yep.
But it's fine because the world around us is also a trash fire.
Yeah.
Because right now...
Women don't matter.
We're recording this like right in the middle day aftermath of the Brett Kavanaugh whole panel interview.
Yeah, yesterday was like his interview, and today they were supposed to vote on his nomination, and then Flake was like, I think we need an FBI investigation, so it's kind of up in the air at this point.
Yeah. So, you know.
By the way, we believe survivors, so we just want to let you know that.
We're both pretty angry.
Yeah.
So if we have random outbursts about that, no apologies from me.
No, it's time for men to do the work, so...
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because, like, I remember when we were first starting this podcast and I was kind of pitching this idea to our friends that it would not only be, like, an entertainment, us shooting the shit podcast, but it would also be, like, us very, like, harshly criticizing these, like, really problematic behaviors that Lifetime / Hallmark, whatever, likes to produce. And I remember, like, some people being like, oh, well, maybe it should just be funny or, like, political. And I feel like in these times, one, I feel like it's been proven that you can do both.
Yeah.
But then two, why should we not talk about shit that directly affects, like, us?
And politics directly affects everybody. Like, politics is us deciding upon what rules make sense for our society, which means who matters, what are your values. Like, that's why politics and religion are such quote-unquote touchy topics, because they are representations of what each of us believes to be true about the world. And when what you believe to be true is that a white dude getting drunk and raping someone in his high school years is just like a whatever thing.
Oh, boys will be boys.
You're a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's it.
And then also, like, if you're tuning in for the first time, hello, welcome.
Welcome.
If not, you definitely understand how absolutely completely absurd Lifetime is. And so then maybe you're thinking, who would possibly, like, take these movies seriously, take these characters seriously, and take these themes seriously? But we need to remind ourselves that there's actually a pretty large chunk of America that feels like these themes and this bullshit and the tropes that we talk about and the general stereotypes are true and real.
Well, they do find themselves to be true a lot of the times. Like, they are representative of a lot of people in this country.
Yeah.
They're not wrong per se sometimes.
Yeah.
But the tropes that they're portraying as being, like, widespread beliefs about women and relationships are bullshit.
Yeah. So that's why we're here. To talk about that shit and to tear
really
it down.
Brighten your day with our comedy.
Uh-huh.
Are we comedians?
Are
not?
Are you fucking laughing yet? Ugh.
My dogs are.
Yeah, I mean, the dogs love us, and it's fine, and we're not going to quit. I mean, until we decide that we are, and then we will, and then whatever.
Yeah, we're not going to quit while we're still doing it.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be funny if we were just like, I'm out, like, done.
Bye.
I don't want to talk about this movie, so see you later.
It was fun. It was a fun one. I mean, it kept us on our toes until the very end.
Right? It's true.
Really did.
And it actually got 2 simultaneous shout screams out of both of us.
When did we... I know it happened.
When the car barreled through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so tight.
Right? It was good. It was good.
That made up for so many shitty things that have happened in a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, because every Lifetime movie is an hour and a half long, and usually there is an hour and 29 minutes of just straight bullshit and 1 minute of sunshine, and that was our 1 minute. We'll get to it. We have some stuff to go through first.
Yeah. So, first, we'll let you know that our babe score right now is 1933.
What?
Wonderful year in this country.
Oh my god.
Just kidding, I don't think it was.
No.
But That means that we're so close to 2,000 babes.
Which is fucking stupid.
Nuts.
That is stupid.
Thank you
cool.
all.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
We're
We
so
love
close.
you. We know that all of you are with us and stand with survivors. So thank you.
Yeah, and we're 20% of the way of being bigger than Bieber, which is the only life goal I've ever had at this point, honestly.
And since we're in our 30s, like, that's what we can achieve. That's it. That's all we got.
I just want to, like, go to a city and have, like, throngs of teenagers screaming my name.
I don't even want them to say our names. I just want them to be yelling, "Bigger than Bieber!
Bigger than Bieber! Bigger than Bieber!" We'll get there.
Like, it just ends up being a, like, Bieber hate.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know much about Justin Bieber. I don't need to spread hate about him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't care enough about him.
But I do want to be
have
bigger
feelings.
than him.
I mean,
we already
obviously.
are, like, physically bigger than him.
Oh, 100%.
He looks like he's a small man.
I could hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
I would hurt him.
Yeah. Anyway, so now that we've talked about that.
Yeah.
This movie is called The Cheerleader Murders.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
So good.
It's from 2016.
Mm-hmm.
The synopsis is a high school student whose father and sister were recently murdered 3 years ago begins her own investigation after two of her fellow cheerleaders are kidnapped. Well, they go missing. I mean, they don't know initially. Anyway.
Yeah.
She sets out on a rescue mission, but the killer may already be hot on her trail.
Ooh. A little murder mystery kidnapping.
And it was quote-unquote based on a true story, which we looked up. And it does appear to be kind of following these murders that happened in Dryden, New York in, like, the 90s, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And a lot of the things that happen in the movie are things that we read in the New York Times article about it, where these girls were, like, baby or house sitting or something, and then these two cheerleaders went missing, and they found them and, like, claimed it was in a dumpster, which these girls weren't found in a dumpster, I don't think, but
no.
There were certain similarities that we found.
Yeah, they were varsity cheerleaders and super popular, and it was a big deal. So
that's neat that it actually, like, was not accurate per se. But
no. But half of these movies open up with based on a true story, and it absolutely isn't.
Yeah.
So it is actually interesting when something tells the truth in a Lifetime movie.
I read someone's review, though, that was like, I hope this isn't real because of the supernatural parts. And I was like, I mean, seeing her dad, like, that's not, like, supernatural.
No.
It was, like, maybe a dream sequence.
It totally was framed as, like, dream sequency stuff.
Yeah.
But it still would have been better if she was hallucinating the whole thing.
Or if he was real.
Or if he was real.
If it was a ghost murder.
The Cheerleader Murders featuring Ghost Dad.
Oh.
That would have been a good movie.
Anyway.
So in terms of people that are actually in this
No
fucking
one.
thing, there's no one. The main actress, her name is Samantha Boscarino. She plays the character Ellie. She was in a single episode of Parenthood. Actually, that might not be true. Maybe she was in Parenthood. But she was definitely...
It was a single episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Of course it was. And a single episode of NCIS. And then she's a part of this movie trilogy that Jill and I was talking about earlier called God's Not Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We saw it. I, like, was driving past this Lutheran... Was it a Lutheran church? I don't know. It was a church. And they had on their marquee that they were going to be showing God's Not Dead 3. And I was like, I've never even heard of God's Not Dead 1 and 2. And she's been in one of those movies. And we watched the trailer for it. And I don't know. It didn't look that bad. I'm going to be honest.
I thought it looked so bad.
I
thought
didn't
it
think
looked so bad. First of all, if it
Doesn't
takes
it have
you...
Jeff Bridges?
Yes.
Yeah.
If it takes you 3 movies to talk about how God's not dead, then it sounds like you don't... Like, it sounds like you're trying to sell too much bullshit. 2,000
years for people to believe a woman, yeah, I think it'd take more than 2 movies to convince people that God's not dead.
When we retire this podcast and they're making the 20th...
Because God is a woman.
What?
Doy.
I don't know, man.
Isn't that a popular song right now?
Is it?
That is, I don't know. I don't even know how it goes.
I don't... You sang it to me, and they're like, I don't know how it goes. I don't know.
I thought as I started singing that it would come to me, but it didn't.
Man, you pull like straight Kayla. That was literally what I fucking do.
Kayla's known for singing the wrong words or just singing words while people are playing music.
But it's not even singing them. It's like it's an angry hate shout. And I just like point my face up to the ceiling, or I awkwardly stare dead into their eyes when they're just trying to like have a nice time at playing a show, and I fucking ruin the vibe.
It's what I miss most about playing shows is looking out and be like, what is she saying right now?
What is, because it's not the actual
not what
lyrics.
I'm saying.
It's not that. I call them Kayla lyrics, and it's fine, and it's not a big deal, and sometimes
I do have to say that
sometimes they're funny.
All of my lyrics are written down and accessible.
But why would Kayla lyrics use the correct lyrics? Like, what's the point of Kayla lyrics if they're correct?
You're right.
I'm not karaokeing over here. I'm just singing it incorrectly.
Okay. So, the cheerleader murders.
Okay, yeah, let's get into this shit.
It opens almost where it seems like it's gonna be I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
And then it turns into Scream.
Yeah.
Very, like, almost to a T.
Yeah.
For at least a couple scenes.
And it's definitely campy and fun, and it definitely has that jive to it.
But it starts really aggressively, and the main girl is talking about like this curse that follows her family,
which I so wish was like an on-running theme throughout the movie.
I know,
as opposed to just this intro.
I wish that they were actually talking about some sort of like witchcraft or something,
right?
Like some actual curse,
like something happens that and the town was cursed thereafter, and they had to break the curse.
Yeah, but it never actually comes up.
No.
But yeah, so like this cheerleader dies in a car crash because she's drunk driving.
Yeah.
Then this dude at, like, prom dies because he's trying to take a selfie with a selfie stick while, like, hanging off of an overhang and then falls and dies.
Which, like, that's not a curse.
That's not a curse.
That's just what happens when you're irresponsible. Like, if you're drinking and driving and you're visibly swerving around the road, that doesn't mean you're cursed. That means you made a really shitty decision and you might die.
Yeah.
Like,
so sorry, like, that sucks, but it's not a curse.
Yeah, if you take a selfie against, like, the edge of a mountain or a building and you fall off, you're not cursed.
And then what happens is that she pans in on her sister, who just broke up with her boyfriend, and is like, she's like, it was just a normal breakup, like, nothing, it was just, like, a high school breakup, it was whatever, and the dude fucking comes into their house in the middle of the night with a shotgun.
Yeah.
She sees him and is like, Dad. And Dad doesn't hear her because he's 2 rooms away with the door closed. And then the dude goes into her sister's room and just, like, slowly walks in and shoots her and kills her. And then the dad comes out and then he shoots him. And then I don't know if he kills himself or what happens, but the mom and the sister are saved. And she's like, yeah, the curse. And it's like, no, that's a shitty dude.
Yeah.
That is not a curse. That is the patriarchy, and fuck that.
That is abusive and entitled people.
That's someone not handling a breakup in a normal way.
Yep. So that was actually probably the heaviest part of the movie.
That was a lot.
That was more horrifying than
traumatic.
The entire plot.
Yeah.
So...
Well, because what was the plot? Why did it Anyway.
So, 3 years later...
Yeah.
We're at high school. Yeah, that's what recently means in the synopsis. So 3 years later, Ellie is a high school student and a cheerleader. And she seems popular and happy and I would say adjusted, considering the circumstances. And so you're introduced to her 2 best friends who are also cheerleaders and on the squad. And
Morgan and Dee.
Thank you for having their names. And then we also meet her football boyfriend.
No, we meet Creepy Ben.
Oh, okay. So
there's this dude who wears a black vest, and they call him Creepy Ben.
Because apparently all it takes to be creepy in Lifetime is wearing, like, a punk shirt and a cutoff vest, which means we're fucking creeps.
Well,
everyone we know are creeps. And...
I guess it's not wrong.
I guess not. Accurate stereotype. So,
It's bullshit.
Creepy Ben approaches the three girls as they're walking down the hall, and he turns to one of her friends. I forget which. Is it Dee or is it Morgan? And he goes, "Can I talk to you?" She's like, "Well, I'm busy. I'm on my way to class, and then I have practice, and then blah, 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 and then
She
I have a
says, and then I know I'm
test."
going to be tired later.
Yeah, so AKA, no, she does not want to fucking talk to you, Ben. And Ben seems irritated by this. And so she's like, well, maybe tomorrow, like after third period, I'll have time. And then the coach of the football team walks up and he like taps Ben on the shoulder and he's like, we're like, is
everything okay over here?
Yeah, as if like something bad was...
As if he was like bothering them. And the girls don't seem distressed at all. Like they seem like they're just having a conversation.
Like in the hallway, no big deal. And everyone's like, yeah, we're fine. And then he goes to Ben, he's like, weren't you going to the principal's office? Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, so Ben slinks off, and then in the background, we see a bunch of football players kind of like goofing off, and one of them's like, oh, hey, Ellie, it's your boyfriend. It's the super cute football player.
Yeah.
Yay.
Who, anyone that knows us, he looks like a preppy Drew from The Crack.
He does. If Drew got a pretty sick tan and liked playing football
and liked wearing Canadian tuxedos,
then it could be him.
Yeah.
So, Drew started a movie, y'all.
Anyway, then Ellie goes home and she's like, Mom, I should just stay at home with you. And her mom's like, no, you should like have friends and like go do shit with your life. Like, her mom's kind of like not wanting to enable her to just stay home all the time.
Yeah.
And so she goes to this like girls' night study date at Morgan's with Morgan and Dee. And it was Dee that he was talking to.
Was it?
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even write down either of their names.
Morgan's the one that looks like a young
care.
Lindsay Lohan. Dee's the super short one. Anyway.
And you don't care about either of them.
No, because why would you? Because they just they're like, oh, have you had sex with your boyfriend yet, to Ellie? And she's like, no. And they're like, slut.
And then
if you have sex with him, you're a slut.
And then they start at, which is like fine and normal, right? Like that's like totally fine. Like any girl that, you know, like, I don't know, wears jeans and talks to a boy is a fucking slut.
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, duh.
Yeah, obviously.
Like, just don't be a whore. I don't know what to tell you.
But I do feel like we have to say this every fucking movie. If you are an independent individual with agency over your body, that qualifies you as being a slut, and we are pro sluts, and fuck you, I'm a slut, you're a slut, get the fuck over it.
Keep being sluts.
Keep being sluts. I feel like...
Stop using it derogatorily. Like, stop.
I feel like I've had to literally, like, explain that every movie for 5 movies, because that insult, attempted insult, has just been like thrown around like that's just fine and cool and
what
normal.
else did they're like...
So then they were targeting the other friend whose house it was, be like, why did Creepy Ben like want to talk to you? And she's like, well, I got drunk a couple times and I made out with him and it was a mistake, but I was drunk.
Which was like...
once again, we're all like, what
actually happened?
Yeah.
Like, do you like him? How drunk were you? Was it an okay situation? She's very, like, flippant about it.
Yeah, and she keeps also referencing herself as, like, queen of the school. As the most popular girl in the school. And
they're all just okay with it, which is whatever. Like,
yeah.
Fine, but...
I mean, I'm sure at that age and their situation, they were all feeding into it. And then, to deflect away from Ben, they turn on the other friend, and it's just like, so what's going on between you and Coach? She's like...
Who's apparently the coach for every team at the school.
I guess so. And because I guess this girl's been texting back and forth with the fucking football coach, which...
That's weird.
I don't care if it's about homework or cheerleading or whatever that's inappropriate. You should not be texting
I
students.
knew my... theater teacher in high school, and I don't think I texted her once unless it was something like, can you pick something up from the store for class? Like,
yeah,
there was never, even though I would consider her a friend, like, That's just so inappropriate.
Yeah, it's incredibly inappropriate. Just so many power dynamics there. So this obviously irritates their friend who's
she
defensive.
gets really like quiet about it.
Yeah,
she's like, no.
And we definitely think that there's something going on there.
Yeah,
but it's never really flushed out.
No.
And then
the weird rabbit. She sees the weird rabbit on the table.
Yeah, it's like a rabbit carving out of wood, and it's painted.
It's a little creepy looking.
It's a little creepy. It's a little cute.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I'd have a feel. And then Ellie turns to her friend and is just like, oh, well, she just loves older guys and the coach, so she has daddy issues.
Yeah, which is like, what? But then to that, the girl responds with, at least I have a dad.
Sick burn. Sick burn.
Not cool.
No.
So
could you
not.
fucking imagine if your dad was murdered
3 years ago
in your house in front of you? And then
so
someone
bad.
was like, at least I have a dad. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Fuck.
So
Fuck.
Ellie
So
is
bad.
obviously hurt and upset, and she decides to leave and go home. And she's like, no, it's fine. I'm going home. She her friend tries to apologize, but very weakly, and honestly, like, who cares in that moment? You're probably too upset to hear it. So she gets on her bicycle and takes off. It's dark out, and she sees, like, a creepy old Lincoln parked on the street, and then she catches a glimpse of a guy with a hoodie on, like, standing on the sidewalk, which is red flag number 1, and she kind of, like, gives him that side eye, and then just, like, keeps on biking, and then you can see in the silhouette from the lights on the street that he crosses the street towards the house that she just came from.
Keeps riding.
Which,
I mean, I get that. Like,
oh, I wouldn't turn around and be like, hello, stranger man wearing a hoodie
where
when
are
it's
you
not
going?
raining.
Can I go too?
Yeah, hi. Want to be my friend?
I'm a slut.
I'm a slut with daddy issues. My dad's dead.
God.
Like, do you want to come to my house and talk about that?
What a pickup line.
It's fine. I'm going to try it tonight.
Then, the girls are missing from school. They don't show up to school the next day.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a football game, and they're cheerleaders. They don't show up to that, which was in the New York Times article about the actual girls that were murdered.
Yeah.
So that was apparently real. And Ellie is kind of like whatever about it until after the game. She's like, I need to go see what's going on. Like, where are they? They should have showed up. And she goes to whoever's house. I think it was Morgan's house.
Yeah.
And she walks in and, like, everything's kind of disheveled. Like, the fingernail polish is knocked over and things are weird. And then she goes upstairs and there's blood all over the shower. There's, like, a handprint. There's blood all over the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. It's a murder scene. Like,
so she calls the cops and they show up. And then Morgan's dad, who Kayla wants to fuck hella hard.
Dude, he's such a dilf.
He's really weird, though.
But,
and, I mean, his daughter just died.
Yeah, so you're gonna act a little weird, but, you know, he hot.
He was, like, sniffing her cheerleading costume in the back of his car.
Yeah, I'd call him daddy.
That was fucking weird.
Hi, daddy.
Gross. You're disgusting.
Slut. Maybe I have daddy issues.
Oh, Lifetime.
Hey, man,
okay.
I like a dude with good hair and a good beard. Those are two things that I would look for in dads.
Somehow I thought you were going to be like, I like a dude with daddy issues.
I like a dude with daddy issues. That's, hey, if Brian ever leaves me, that is on my Tinder profile.
Listen, we're not, like, shaming people with daddy issues.
No.
Like, obviously.
No.
It's just, it was a weird thing to say as, like, a funny joke to your friend. Like, what the fuck? So, then I just wrote, dude finds a foot. Because there's some dude running on the side of the highway.
Because that's where joggers jog.
In, like, the foothills of California, and he just stops to take a breath and glances over the ravine and then sees a foot. Like, it's fucking weird.
almost cinematic.
It is
Almost
so
like
close.
Almost like someone wrote a script about it.
So close.
Yeah.
And then so they find out that Morgan's dead. The body is hers.
Yeah.
Ellie feels responsible. Sure. And then she sees a bunny in her house, and I think that's why they like call the cops and are like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, so that's when she starts to feel like something is happening and targeting these, and they just can't explain it
because it's the same bunny. Domino. It's the same bunny, and when she was at Morgan's house, she's like, "Where'd this come from?" Morgan's like, "Oh, I don't really know. It just like was there." And then at her house, she's like, "Mom, did you get this?" She's like, "No, I don't know where that came from." So they're like, "What the fuck?" Like, they're the only two people that live there.
Yeah.
So the FBI gets him. I actually don't know why the FBI.
We don't know why,
involved,
and it's not explained.
And they are just
they shouldn't be.
It's just weird. Anyway, so they go to the police station. And the coach is being investigated there.
Yes. And Ellie can hear the conversation because he's being interviewed with the door open and she's waiting in the office next door.
I mean... Just
intensely unprofessional.
I'm not a cop, but that's dumb.
No. Like, I know, like, cops are crazy problematic in real life.
Right.
But in Lifetime, they just ramp it up. Like, it's literally like every police department is just run by the Three Stooges in every one of these movies.
Then she gets a text while she's there from, like, I think another cheerleader. It doesn't really say.
Yeah.
It just says, "The killers want all of us." And then that never gets addressed again.
Yeah, like, what?
So, I don't know...
This would have been a good moment to talk about the curse.
Nope.
But no, we're never going to talk about the curse again.
Don't bring it up.
So then they ask her, like, just super brief questions. Like, she actually fell asleep waiting in the office because it took them so long to be interrogating the coach. And then when they woke her up, they were like, "Oh, hey, yeah, we don't know what anything's about. Let's keep your phone. We'll trace where this text came from." Because I think it came from an unknown number.
I think that was another text.
Was that another text? Okay,
yeah,
never mind.
That was when she got the one from the unknown number that was like, you survived the last one, but not tonight. Or
You're right.
Like
so
that.
They essentially just wake her up and send her home. They don't even really ask her
something, but it wasn't anything like worth. It was like something really stupid that didn't matter. I don't know.
Like they could have just called her and asked her.
Oh, totally.
And so then she's back.
And they were like, her mom was like, "Can I go in with her?" And they were like, "No."
Yeah. Which, by the way, parents of children that are not in custody and being asked to be interviewed, when a cop says no to interviewing your child, you absolutely have the right to go back with them. Like, don't believe that. So then she's back at home. She's in her room. She's studying. She's listening to some music. She's having her night. And all of a sudden we see the curtains moving.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No, first... she questions Ben about being there that night. She sees him in the hallway at school.
Oh.
It's a really short scene right before that one.
Oh, I wrote it as before. Yeah.
She questions him, and she's like, "Why were you..." I know, it's really bad. She was like, "Why were you there that night?" He's like, "Why were you there?" And she's like, "'Cause they're my fucking friends. Like, what are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Well, I'll go to the police if you don't answer me." And he's like, "Go ahead, you're just a crazy bitch with PTSD," which is like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, but he's
going through some shit.
He is. But he also says that he was not there.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, "I wasn't there, I don't know what you're talking about," because she thinks that he's the guy in the hoodie.
But he was there because he left that bunny.
He was there, but that was earlier.
Before.
Yeah, because that bunny was already there before their study party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so then we would go into a scene from Scream, like straight out of Scream. Go ahead, Kayla.
Oh, so this is where she's having that chill study night in her room, listening to music, being cool.
She's not wearing a large nightie.
She is not, though.
But
and all of a sudden we see her like bedroom curtains moving. Meanwhile, her house is supposedly under police surveillance for their protection.
She asks him, like, "How'd you get past the police?" And he's like, patient.
Yeah, because it's her fucking boyfriend. Instead of calling or texting and being like, hey, I'm gonna come over and check on you, or can I come over and check on you? No, I'm just gonna scale the side of your house and break in through your window and terrify you.
I mean,
because that's
he's
fine.
her boyfriend. Like, that's his right.
I mean, there's a killer on the loose. We've
Fine.
already had
They're not on curfew
a
yet.
dude break into your house and murder your family members, but it's fine.
So this was where Kayla and I started to believe that the boyfriend was the killer.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, and then she gets pissed because she's like, I just need to, like, think about some stuff. Like, this is a lot for me. It's the first time that she ever really acknowledges that, like, this is hard for her.
Right.
Most of the time she's like, I'm fine.
I have one dead friend and one missing friend, and I might be going through some life shit now.
And he's, like, pissed about it as What's-His-Face was in Scream.
Yes.
And he's like, well, enjoy your space. And then leaves.
And crawls back through the window.
It's like, thanks, that's what I wanted.
With no fucking cop noticing, coming, or going. So,
Why are they there? Oh,
why are they even there?
Well, and she does, it's like an apartment, and her window is floor level, and it's on, like, the back side of the house, so, like, they would have to be back there. Like, there isn't surveillance there.
No.
So to say that she would be safe at all is, like, not, whatever. Anyway. Then she confronts the coach, because she wants to know something. She's like, well, what about, like, you and Morgan? And he's like, what about us? Nothing was happening. And then he answers just like Brett Kavanaugh. And she's like, well, but what's going on? He's like, listen, I really cared about your friends, and I hope that everything's okay with them. Bye.
Yeah, and he's just like, I like all of your friends.
He doesn't answer her question at all. He just, like, deflects to make himself look good. Hi, Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, so we still don't know what he was texting, why he was texting.
We never learned,
what
by
the
the way.
communication was going on.
Oh, Domino.
Just the fact that it happened, and it
no.
probably shouldn't have. Oh, sweet boy.
He can't back up.
No.
He can't be cornered in spaces.
Oh, you're pretty fucking adorable.
He's so cute. Then she gets a note in her locker. She opens up her locker, and it's something like, you don't know anything, don't go to the cops,
Yeah, and it
I'll
says,
kill
like,
you, or something.
don't talk to your mom!
It's all in caps.
Yeah, it's all in caps, in case you didn't know. And she puts it in her backpack / purse, and she goes and finds her boyfriend who's in class, and it just so happens that he's sitting next to creepy Ben, and her boyfriend is also wearing what Jill pointed out quite aptly was a Canadian tuxedo.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Jean on jean on jean.
And at that, it's jorts.
Oh, it is. It is a
And
Canadian
they're not
jort.
cute jorts.
No.
No. But also, she, like, shows up in the door, because she has a nightmare in class.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I must tell him.
Like,
And so she goes to his class and just goes in the doorway, and he's like, I guess I'll leave class.
I'm gonna leave in the middle of this lecture. It's fine.
He doesn't even, like, excuse himself. He just walks out. Like, the teacher's like, hi, we're still doing this?
Yeah, apparently this school's lax on rules. These cops don't know what they're doing.
There's no authority.
There's no authority.
Then Ellie, then she has the nightmare during class, and she, like, stays after to talk to this one female teacher, and she sees her making sex eyes to the coach, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you like the coach. And she's like,
Yeah.
what? And she's like, but you're married. And the lady's like, don't tell anybody, nobody knows. She's like, Morgan must have known. That's what this is about.
But, like, if Morgan knew, why would she be texting the coach that she knew that she was having an affair?
But
with
also,
like, what?
This was just there to, like, throw us off the track.
Yes,
because there was no resolution with that at all. And in the end of the movie, she hugs that teacher, and it's just like,
Exactly.
it's okay.
It's fine.
I won't tell your husband.
You're just a cheater. Which is fine.
I mean, she doesn't need to get
I mean,
involved.
we don't know the specifics of their relationship. Maybe
I
it's
don't know
open.
anything about it.
But with how embarrassed and angry and afraid she was in that moment, it made it pretty clear that she was fucking not in an open relationship.
Oh, yeah. Then she realizes that the note is gone because she was trying to show her boyfriend the note, and it's no longer in her backpack. And then she sees that she has a text, and it says, something like, you got away, but not again. Like, it won't happen again.
Ooh.
And it's from an unknown number. So then she goes home and she's like, Mom, will you make me chicken piccata? And her mom's like, yeah, let's go to the store. She's like, no, will you make me chicken piccata?
Yeah, I'm sleepy. You cook dinner after work and serve it to me and go shopping.
But what she means is, can you leave the house so that I can escape
Yes.
and then go question someone I think may have murdered my friends?
Yeah.
And just, see what happens. Like, I'm a detective. I've watched a lot of Veronica Mars. It's fine. So she goes in.
Oh, excuse me.
She
That's
goes-
my first sneeze on the podcast.
It
is.
Remember when I had the hiccups?
Yes, I loved that.
That
Their
was the
hiccups
worst.
are so cute.
That
Okay,
was
sorry,
worst.
that threw us off.
So she goes to Ben's house because she thinks that he's the one, the killer. And not the one for her.
The one.
Well, what a fun ending.
What if that was?
That would be amazing. And she meets his mom, and his mom is the best character in the whole fucking movie.
Yes.
She is on top of her shit in the midst of grief. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, so, like, she's calling through the window, and she's like, hey, is Ben home? And she's like, no. And she's like, oh, I'm a friend of Ben's. And she goes, Ben doesn't have friends.
No, she says, I'm in a sociology class, and she's like, he doesn't take sociology.
Yeah, but then she also says that he does not
Did
have
she?
friends.
Oh,
Yes.
I
And I was
didn't hear
like,
that.
damn, Mom.
She knows what's up.
Fuck.
She knows her son.
I remember reading
She's like,
that on
his
the
name is
couch.
Creepy Ben, okay?
Yes. Have you not met my fucking son? And so, yeah, she totally does the whole, like, my son doesn't even take sociology, what the fuck? And she essentially just, like, tells her to go away. And she even says,
fuck
like,
yourself.
she even says, like, I know what you little bitches do to my son at school. Like, even
Yeah.
uses the word bitches. Like, because
She's-
obviously...
She knows what's up.
Yeah, and Creepy Ben has obviously been ostracized by these people his entire high school experience.
And they're living
That's
in
obvious.
a trailer, so I'm sure that, like, that adds to the stress. And,
Yeah.
like, he's kind of outside of town. And, like, it just kind of sucks for this kid, it sounds like. Like, everyone calls him Creepy Ben. No one wants to talk to him. He just wants to be friends with everybody. So, like, the cops show up and they question him, and he's like, yes, I did put those rabbits in your houses.
Well, yeah, because when she was yelling at the mom through the screen,
yeah,
she
she
sees
them.
all these carved rabbits that are what they had in their house.
And he's like, I did put those in there, but, like, I didn't hurt anybody. I did write you that note because I thought you were going to go to the cops and, like, get me in trouble, and I didn't do anything. But I took the note back because I felt bad about it. And his mom's like, I know he didn't kill them because we were at his grandma's memorial that day. Like, she just died.
God.
And everyone's kind of like, ugh.
Sorry, Creepy Ben.
Yeah.
Do you think he wore a black vest to the funeral?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
No,
I
I bet that he just, like, wore a nice shirt. I bet that he, like, dressed nice.
I bet
He doesn't seem like he's so defiant. He just, like, that's his style.
Yeah, I just feel like he is every stereotypical, like, Midwest small town punk boy.
Yeah.
Even though, like, we think this movie was supposed to be made in California.
It was. They had
Yeah.
California plates on the cars.
But it just, everything felt like a small town in this movie.
Well, it
Didn't
could be a small town in California.
I guess that is true.
It definitely seemed like Northern California, like Ventura, like, I don't know, Eureka sort of area. Like, it could have been some, like, small town over there.
Oh, well, that trailer could have been in my hometown, Eureka, 100%. Yeah.
So anyway, so it's not him. He's not the killer. And she
Nope.
basically just fucked his life over
Yep.
again. Then, for some reason, Nicholas, her boyfriend, is like, so Morgan's memorial's next weekend and we should go together. Like, as if it's some sort of fucking date. And she's like, maybe. It's so sweet.
He's like, I really think it would be good for you. First of all, Nicholas, don't fucking tell me what would be good
You
for
don't know
me and
what's
my
good
dead
for
friend.
me. Also, what are you wearing? Are we coordinating?
Yes, matching.
And then she almost immediately texts him and is like, I'm going by myself.
Which is a constant in this movie. Like, she's 100% always making plans with this fucking kid. And then at the very last minute being like, hey, I'm gonna go try and find this murder on my own. I'll see you later. Maybe. I don't know. I'll text you.
Don't need you. Bye.
Bye.
So then she goes to the memorial, which it's not a memorial. Someone just made a thing on the side of the road.
Yes.
Near where her body was found.
Yeah.
And people were just, like, coming by and giving their respects or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a service, but it's not. But she goes there and she sees Morgan's dad, who, again, Kayla really wants to fuck. He's very awkward with her.
Oh, gorgeous.
He's like, you're very lucky you're alive and you left the house, and it's like, oh.
And his beautiful hair is flowing in his face, and his beard is shining in the sun.
Backs up that Audi like no other.
Cool dudes only drive backwards. It's sexy when a man only drives backwards.
That's gonna be our bumper sticker. Cool dudes only drive backwards.
He did! He literally, like, backed up for 100 feet.
Driving backwards.
There was so much room to turn around. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He's
gorgeous. We're
gorgeous.
gonna have, like, fucking cul-de-sac sort of. Anyway.
He's gorgeous. He knew whatever the fuck he wants in that Audi.
So then she sees that creepy car again that she saw the night that they died, or they were taken, whatever. And she follows it because, you know, when you're 16, why the fuck not? And she just keeps following it. And then it, like, parks at some house in the middle of fucking nowhere. And she's like, that seems like a good idea. I can find out what's going on over here.
No. First of all, no.
Don't.
Oh my God, no. Like, I know that I'm not someone that's like, call the cops. This is where you call the cops.
Somebody. You gotta call somebody. It doesn't need to be the cops, honestly, because they're not doing their job.
No, maybe the fire department.
But I don't know. Your mom, like, I don't know. The DILF, like, someone.
Text that coach. We know he has plenty of texting data.
He does. Logic. I mean, come on, Ellie. Like, do not go to this house by yourself. I don't feel safe in my own house by myself. Yeah. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, here's this masked man going into an abandoned house. I think I'm gonna go in, too. Fuck you, Ellie. Fuck you.
And listen, like, it shouldn't be the burden of people to not get themselves murdered. Like, it should be on murderers to not murder people.
100%.
However, this is a situation that's just like, just don't. Just don't. Don't do it. I don't know, just don't. But she does. And, she breaks into the house by picking up a shovel and breaking the glass window, and, whatever. And then she, like, it's an empty house, but there are leaves along the perimeter of every single room.
Everywhere.
That don't look like any of the trees that are outside.
And it's a fully shut house. She had to break a window to get in.
It was weird.
It's bizarre.
She hears someone kind of crying, which seems unlikely because it had been, like, weeks. And, like,
yes.
I mean, maybe she heard her walking, I guess.
Oh.
Anyway.
And also, she's in the basement. I don't know how she could possibly hear her.
I don't know. So she, like, instantly finds the latch to go to the basement. Or, like, cellar? Is that what you would call it? I don't know what you call those things. I don't know. Anyway, she goes down there, and Dee is there, and she looks like a goddamn zombie.
She does.
Like, she doesn't look like she's been beaten battered. She looks like a zombie. It's fucking weird. And she's like, you gotta help me! And then they get all of her, like, ties off, and they run from this murderer. The murderer shows up. And they escape him from the house, and then they get to, like, some orange fields. And for some reason, her car is not right out front like she parked it.
No, but also, there's a first scene where they are running towards the car, and they are 30 feet away. And then there's a second scene where that car disappears, and it's actually 100 feet away down a valley.
It's weird.
Like, it's insane.
And so they, like, tumble down this valley on accident, get to the bottom, and look at each other and like, we should split up. Let's meet at the car that you have not yet seen where it is.
Yes, and Ellie even goes, meet me at the car, and then
just runs.
Books it. Like,
and Dee's like, okay.
All right.
If I go the opposite way down this field, I'll find it.
I guess.
She does. But it's too late, and the murderer catches her and literally stabs her in the back on the car with Ellie in it.
Yeah, so instead of Ellie driving the car towards her friend, the murderer is literally 6 inches behind her, or even
so
swerving to try and kill the guy who's chasing after it, she just sits in her car and watches her friend get chased down. Come on!
Could you... I know
Let's
you're
go.
hurt, but could you run faster?
You're
Listen,
so close.
I don't have much gas left. We gotta go.
Yeah, I don't have any cash. My mom doesn't know I took her car.
I gotta get home. I got like 20 minutes before she's back from the store.
Yeah, so literally, he stabs her on the car, and she drives off, which at first I'm like, okay, yeah, get yourself some distance. But then I'm like, hit that fucking reverse and kill him.
Drive
with
like a
your
cool guy.
3-ton fucking car. Nope. She just books it. She leaves the scene.
She goes to the cops, and they're dicks. Like, okay, granted, she did not make a lot of good choices, but she's also 16. Like,
Yeah.
She's gone through a lot of trauma. I can't imagine we're talking shit, but like, I also can't imagine being in her position. I'm sure that like, there's not a good decision to make.
No.
No matter what you do, some shit's gonna go down. Like, whatever. And also, it just happened, and these cops are like, why did you go in that house? And it's like, dude, I get it, but like, give her a day.
Like, obviously she
holy
also has
fuck.
this hero complex because she feels guilty about the fact that her sister was killed because she was too scared to leave her room and like get her
with
dad.
a guy with a shotgun. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, you know, so like she has this hero complex where like she like wants to be active in finding her friends, and I respect that and I get that, and yes, she's 16. But also, you probably got your friend killed. So, I don't know.
So the cops berating her is not going to make any of that better.
But that's gonna yeah, absolutely. And also, these cops didn't fucking find her. Ellie did. So maybe they should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she found them. They should have been the ones to find that dude.
And that's actually what cops do in these kind of situations where there's a memorial set up, is that
that's where you would be.
They'll have an undercover cop there to try and see any like out of the norm folks and follow people. So,
because murderers, especially like serial killers, will go back to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
So that would be the ideal place, and was.
And it was
the ideal place.
Yep.
Anyway. So then, she has this really weird conversation with Nicholas, like, the next day, and they're, like, talking about how her friend was murdered on her car in front of her, and then they just make out, and it's like...
Well, that's what you do.
Is it?
That's what I do with the DILF.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm so sorry about your dead daughter. You want to tongue punch each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your Audi going backwards.
Fly ass motherfucker.
She gets annoyed with her mom. Oh, Nicholas is like, she drew a picture of the car that she had seen, and he's like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, that's the car that I keep seeing. That's where the killer's car." And he's like, "I have to go. The curse is following me."
Yeah.
She's like, "What?" And that's where we started to question if he was the killer.
Yeah.
And then she gets this text from Dead D. That says, "You couldn't save me." And she's like, "What the fuck? Who has her phone?" And so she shows the cops, and they're like, "You need to get out of town." And so she goes to say goodbye to Nicholas, and they go to his house, and she goes into his room, and he has all these pictures right on top of a heater, which is just
not smart.
But she sees all these photos, and one of them is on the ground, and it's a picture of him with that car. She's like, what's happening? And then they go downstairs, and somehow the cops show up, and they search his room, and they find this bag with a murder weapon and other shit in it, and they're like, Nicholas...
And a phone.
Oh, that's right. Like a burner phone. And they're like, "Nicholas, what is this?" And he's like, I don't know what that is." And his dad's like, "Nicholas, what the fuck?" And he's like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, that's not my shit. So they take him to jail. Then Nicholas commits suicide while he's in jail.
Super sad.
Which, Ellie shows up to jail to go say something to him. And they didn't even notice until she gets there. So she just finds another person dead. Like, really fucking traumatic.
Inept cops.
Oh my god.
Maybe this is the most realistic part of the movie.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then she, like, goes to see his dad because she feels really bad. She's like, I'm sorry for everything that you're going through. And he's like, thanks, this is really hard. And then he got so creepy. He's like, you know what I need right now? A hug.
No, sorry, I have daddy issues. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
She, like, kind of just, like, has her arms out while he hugs her.
Yeah.
Then he goes away, and she looks over, and she sees Dee's phone, and she starts calling it to, like, confirm, and that's the phone. And he sees her calling it, and they both look at each other, and she's like, fuck.
And he's like, girls like you is what's wrong with this world. You think you can do anything you want.
And it's like,
okay.
What did she do that indicated she was doing whatever the fuck she wanted?
She dated your son. She went to school.
They liked each other and were, like, nice to each other.
Like, she was on the cheerleading squad.
She went through a very traumatic experience 3 years ago. There was nothing indicating that they were mean girls, aside from them, like, you know, calling each other slut, like, saying shitty things to each other. And, like, yeah, they called that guy Creepy Ben. Like, they did, like, high school shit that isn't okay, but there was nothing, like, overly...
No.
They weren't, like, going after... They weren't even shitty to Ben to his face. They were just, like, weird to him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they were, but there was nothing indicative in the movie of them being, like, big bullies or mean girls or...
They just didn't set it up for, like, this whole, like... Oh, well, she was an evil, popular cheerleader who tortured people, and this guy had a fucking bone to pick with those kind of people.
They didn't even set it up like they were so well liked. Like, yeah, that one girl said that she was the queen of the school, but you didn't even see them with other students. Like, there's no indication that anyone gave a fuck about them.
Yeah, I mean, you can say whatever you want. This means I'm the queen of England.
Me too!
I know all the lyrics of every song I've ever sang.
Okay, well, Kayla, that's a lie.
Well, okay.
Right. But then, okay, so in this kicks off the best shit in a Lifetime movie I've ever seen. He's, like, coming towards her like he's gonna hurt her or something, and she sees that Dee's phone is behind him.
Yeah.
She calls it, so his attention goes behind him, and then she fucking chucks her cell phone at his face and, like, breaks his nose.
Yes, it's great.
Which is tight. Then she runs outside and gets on her bike, which just, like, I'm so uncoordinated that it's so unlikely that could happen to me.
No, I'd die right then.
But she gets on her bike and starts riding away, and he's fucking Superman and, like, catches up in 5 minutes.
Cheetah.
It's wild. But she keeps running, and her mom shows up and, like, swerves the car and just straight up hits the dude.
Oh my god. Just flies over the windshield and the hood and the roof. Like, drops into a ditch, is coughing up blood very theatrically.
Yeah.
And then...
It's not viscous.
And then, what was she saying to him? I remember what he said.
I was so excited by the scene.
Yeah, like, she bent over, and, I don't know, maybe she was just checking on him, and he, like, gurgles in his blood, "Go to hell." It was good. It was really, really good.
No, I think she said to him, "Go to hell." Because I remember being like, yeah, I mean, duh. Like, he's on his way.
I wrote it down.
They might have both said it. I don't know.
They might have. Who the fuck knows?
Either way, he is going to hell, if there is a hell. And that was a tight ending to the movie. That was it. Like, nothing else happened, right? I don't think.
No, I think there was a brief scene where the cop goes back to that abandoned house because he sees on video surveillance that a lady showed up there.
That was before... That's how he found out that the dad was the killer. That was before that she shows up to his house.
Yeah, and that was, like, going on while that was all happening.
That. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, he, like, he sees that something's going on there, and it's the dad's sister.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're Don Jackson's sister. And she's like, that's not his last name. That's just like a persona that he's come up with. And apparently they had been moving around consistently. He had like assaulted some girls when he was like a while ago, and they had like come out against him, and then he was like pissed ever since then, even though he did that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It seemed like he had some other shit going on, but they didn't flesh it out that much.
Yeah. But we think maybe that's why Nicholas committed suicide, was because when he took off to home to be like, the curse is following me, he also was just like, I can't believe it's happening again.
Mm-hmm.
So we think that maybe there was some embarrassment, shock. We don't know.
Hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say, because once again, Lifetime leaves us with more questions than answers and so many untied resolutions that we don't know.
But this was a fun one, I'll say that.
It was fun. I mean, we literally watched an asshole get murdered with a car.
It was great.
Which I'm all about.
Yeah, the cell phone to the face.
Also
and
good.
how much he bled from that was just...
So much. So much.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Jill's giving the okay symbols to those of you who aren't our Patreon subscribers and can't see it.
How many fleece blankets would you give it?
Shit. A solid 3.5.
All right.
Yeah, I think the thing for me is that, like, when it opened up talking about a curse, I actually wanted there to be some kind of curse that gets broken.
I agree.
You know, so when it just turned out to just be, like, this dude's dad who didn't like women with personalities...
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, so it's just like real life. Yeah. Okay.
So this is just my day-to-day. Cool.
It's fine. Where's the fucking curse? So yeah, I'll give it three.
The curse of the patriarchy.
The curse of the patriarchy. So yeah, so 3.5 fleece blankets. It wasn't the worst acting. It wasn't the worst plot. It was fun, but also, it just wasn't the movie that I wanted it to be.
No.
Like, it led me on.
Yeah. I'd give it 4. I had a good time.
I mean, I just remembered the DILF. I'd give it 0.5 fleece blankets for the DILF.
You'd give it 3 for the DILF. You give it all of it for the DILF.
7 fleece blankets for the DILF.
Our first 7.
Our first 7. She's got that curly hair.
We're gonna have to look up what else that dude's been in and then watch all of his movies.
I bet it's just like, you know...
What if he's been in porn?
Well, that's my day's been made, but I'm sure he's just in a bunch of fucking Hallmark movies called, like, Jaded Temptations, Secret Paradise of Hell,
Purple Diamond,
The Lost Scarf.
Is that about Oprah or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, this was alright.
It was better than the cruise ship murder. Deadly Honeymoon.
I would never watch that again.
Man, Deadly Honeymoon just fucking sucked. This was
Deadly Honeymoon reminded me of reality shows, but like in such a scripted, disgusting way.
I believe you.
And I'm not listen. I know that happens on reality shows. I'm not like distancing reality shows from being scripted.
Oh no.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying. Like, its zipper is showing.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, and in comparison, Deadly Honeymoon was a 1 fleece blanket, and in comparison, this would probably be a 5. Like, if you had to hold the two side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're night and day.
Night and day.
They're ocean and mountain.
For sure. With cheerleaders.
Yeah. I don't know what we're watching next, but it'll be great.
I don't know about that.
Thanks for listening, all 1,933 of you.
Fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy.
Subscribe to our Patreon so you can see me making the OK symbol.
And
also, Kayla will put her feet in.
Yeah, sign up for other perks, like you get to sit in and watch and interact with us through a Facebook Live event when we watch the movies. You can pay to have me put my feet in spaghetti. But really, the outcome that we're hoping for the Patreon is we want to get your merch. We want to get koozies. I want to
make
stickers.
those bumper stickers now.
Right?
Yeah, all the cool guys drive backwards.
All the cool guys drive backwards. Dilf, dilf, dilf. Just saying. But yeah, but if you can't spare $2 a month, which is our lowest tier on Patreon. Please, at the very least, leave us a review.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because that is how we cheat the algorithm to get new listeners and new subscribers. Because we're fucking weird and we want to spread our weirdness.
We really do.
Yeah.
We want more people to experience it. So if you could help us out with that, that would just be
Amazing.
really neat. So we'll see you next time.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm Jill.
And I'm Kayla.
And we are.
I wanna wear your skin.
Bye.
That was a fun little ditty.